Hey, y'all.
What up, though?
We back.
We back and we better.
Well, we back and different this week.
Man, this week we have a little treat for y'all.
Man, this is the only black woman to live and survive. GW.
Oh, whatever.
Zoo.
Joe Exotic, goddamn it. We got the Tiger Princess on with us this week.
Motherfucking Tiger Queen in this bitch.
No, for real.
This is a good story, y'all. Make sure
Yes.
y'all, tuned up, turned up, have
Yes.
something to eat, something to drink.
Get your popcorn.
Facts.
Make you a little some tea or something, because you're gonna have to sit back and listen, because she has a story to tell, and she is gonna tell it.
And she don't hold back at all.
Nothing.
All the questions you want to ask, and probably some you didn't want to ask.
Right.
We answered this week episode.
So if you have not seen Tiger King yet on Netflix,
Spoiler alert, go watch it.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Go watch that shit.
And finish it.
And if you have, definitely enjoy. We have our good friend Whitney on with us this week, and she is going to tell her story and let y'all know some of the behind the scenes of what really went the fuck on at that damn zoo, safari, whatever the fuck it was.
Madness.
No, for real. But y'all go ahead and enjoy the episode, and we're going to go ahead and get into it.
Thanks.
Let's get it.
All right, y'all. What's up? We have a very special guest.
I am so excited for this.
So last week we did talk about Tiger King inadvertently, and it just so happens that we went to high school.
Yes.
with, I don't want to say your last name, with Whitney.
Hey, girl.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
And Whitney, was it last week, was like, everybody talking about Exotic Joe.
Joe Exotic.
Yeah. I used to remember, I was like, you know what? I was on the town. I was like, remember Whitney got bit by a bobcat?
Yes.
Girl.
And I was like, but I didn't know that was what.
In my hand.
Girl. Okay,
Yes.
we're going to have to get there. We're going to have to get there.
Say hi, Whitney.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Thanks so much for doing this, because honestly, I'm not going to lie.
Welcome.
Whenever I saw Tiger King, I was like, this shit is fucking crazy.
I said the same thing when I saw it, and I worked there. I was still shocked.
So okay. We went to Louisville High School.
Mm-hmm.
And actually you end up going to Denton.
Yeah, we were forced to transfer to Denton.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Louisville fighting farmers, and then had to transfer to stupid Denton Ryan. Oh, not Denton Ryan, but just regular Denton High School.
So how did you go from Denton? What's the place
Oklahoma?
Called? Yeah, when is it Wynnewood, or what's it called?
I forgot what the
Wynnewood.
So how you get from Denton to Wynnewood?
Right.
Girl, first of all, it started like 2012 is when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And this was 8 years ago. And I guess when they started the documentary, it was about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I started before all of this, but it was brewing, and I didn't know what was brewing.
Mm-hmm.
So the person that I started dating at the time, we were only together like 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And his brother was looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
And he got on Craigslist, and it just so happened somehow he comes to find Joe. So he's communicating back and forth with Joe, and Joe was basically like, come on. So, and he basically let him know, how much you get paid, what the certain things were that we were going to deal with, free housing, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, okay, we'll just go. And
that was literally going to be one of my questions. Like, where does Joe Exotic put that kind of position up? Like, so it makes sense.
Like, I had no idea about it. Most people had no idea about Joe until 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew about Joe in 2012.
Right.
And it seemed cool. It seemed like the right move at the time. Like, it was so many things going on back then. We're young, 22, 23 years old,
right?
And you just jumping at stuff. So it's like, oh, cool opportunity, and rent's paid for. You got free housing. He was paying like $250 a week, and we literally had nothing to pay for. We didn't have to pay for food. We didn't, and we'll get into that. I guess.
Right.
Oh, that was a definite question.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But you really had nothing to pay for. So to us, it was like just the perfect opportunity just to go save money. We're young, we're stupid, and the person that I was with, and his brother, like they loved animals. People that know me.
I was gonna say, I don't even think you like animals.
No, I do not. I do not like animals. Not that I don't like them, but I'm not really an animal person. Like I could deal with dogs to some degree.
Right.
I don't like cats. I like big cats, but they're somewhere where I can't really reach them. But when I was there, I was bottle feeding them, so it turned into something completely different.
You were bottle feeding the big cats?
No, the babies. The cubs.
So you were. Oh, okay. So how was it? The cubs look so cute. I can't lie.
They do.
They were adorable until they get to the size where they can bite you in the butt.
Right.
And that happened. So
you got bit in the ass?
I did. I did. What? No scars, but I did.
Ooh, ooh.
And cubs, they look like they grow so fast. Like they look like they only gonna be small for like a month, maybe.
They do. For like 3 months, they're like, "Oh, you're so cute," and then after 3 months, it's like a toddler, and you just want to throw them away, and you're just like, "No, you're too big.
Right?
Like, you're not in the cute phase anymore."
But they still want to act like they are.
Yeah, but by that age, they're playful. So when I got bit in the butt, it was because this tiger was trying to bite the glove that I had in my back pocket.
Oh.
So he was trying to get to that, but he like nipped me on the butt. So,
girl, that's crazy. Yeah. So did Joe ever try to like hit on your like boyfriend at the time or his brother? Because that's one of the main things that they focused on. It was like how Joe was like manipulative and how he was basically turning like straight men gay.
Yeah.
So did he ever try it?
It's not something that I saw firsthand, but it's something that I was told. So I can't really say like, yeah, definite, it's what happened. But of course, when you watch the documentary, you see, what was going on that wasn't even knowledge to me. So I didn't know about, all the things that he was doing. And like I knew Finley. Travis wasn't there, but I knew Finley. Oh,
Finley was the first husband, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I knew of him. He was there. He taught me a lot of things. And I didn't know all the different types of things that they were, throwing into this documentary. So that's why I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, I was around this when it was happening.
Girl.
But I was told by the person that, I was with that he did try to hit on him. And it also goes into other things. I don't know how y'all want to play it into this, but the whole stupid N-word part of it.
Oh, yeah.
When he found out all that, and the guy that I was with, he was not having it. He's straight. He's not about to do drugs with you and all this kind of stuff. And, just transition over to being, gay, no matter what you was throwing at him. And it just turned into, him being really, I don't even know what's the word for it. He was just very disrespectful to him at that point because he was not about to, be one of your next husbands and, take your drugs and all that kind of stuff. So when he also found out that he was half black, he wanted to call him, a stupid N-word.
Oh, Joe was tripping.
Yeah, he was.
Like to his
Joe
face?
Was a character. Yeah.
Did he ever call you? Well, I'm just like nigga.
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to be like politically correct or whatever, but no, call him a stupid nigger. And
nigger.
Yeah. Wow. With the ER, hard ER.
Mm.
And I witnessed that, but I was told he said it about me, but he never said it to me.
I about to say, because you didn't see no black people in the documentary.
No, exactly. Girl, we was gone. We was gone.
So there were more black people that worked there.
No, there was me, him, and his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then while we were there was another black guy that came in. I mean, darker than me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so, wow. He came in and, things were cool though. And that's why I tell people, like, it wasn't as bad as what people think from the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it must have just gotten worse over time.
Mm-hmm.
But we were probably, as far as I know, like the only probably, 2 black people and 2 half black, half white people that makes
two full black people.
Yeah, that's 2 full black people.
And I'm not even full black, but
right.
I'm more black than they are, I guess.
Right.
But like we were the only ones that if he could say nigger, then he was gonna say it to us.
But honestly, Joe was so crazy that him saying the N-word don't surprise me. I can just see Joe like getting mad and fucking niggers. Like niggas, he said everything else. Like of course nigga part of his vocabulary.
Right. And that's what shocked me too, because they were talking about like Cardi B and all that, and Cardi B was standing Joe and wanting to get Joe out of jail, and then like she switched her whole stance when she saw the video of him saying, "Why can't I say the N-word?" And I'm like, did it shock you that he said the N-word?
Right. No.
Like, for real?
That was right up his alley.
Yeah.
That was
right
Joe
wasn't a bad person, but he didn't just throw it out, just, out in the open and whenever, but he said it.
Right. So was he always that like eccentric and like, because that was another part of the documentary is that they focused on like how egotistical he was. Like he was so like, such a narcissist and like just completely worried about himself. So that was really him.
Yeah. And like I say, when I was there, it wasn't that bad, but I still experienced it. Joe was the type of person where it was all about Joe. Like it was all about him. I mean, he did care for the animals and all that, but it was still like he wanted to be famous.
Right.
It was at the end of the day, it's going to be about Joe. The way he walked, the way he talked, it was about Joe.
Right. So he was at the zoo every day.
Yeah, pretty much. When I was there, we worked 6 days a week.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah. And I'm talking 6 days a week, like 14, 16 hours a day.
Ooh, for $250?
Yes.
See, on the documentary, they said that he was paying them $150.
$150, yeah. And that's why I say this is before the whole, like, it was after the whole Carol Baskin, Sue thing, but it's when he was still able to financially support things in a way. Because when I was there, when they said in the documentary, like, she took tour buses, she, took all this and took all that, the tour buses and stuff was still there.
So he still had a little bit of money.
Yeah, all that happened later. And so he still had money to pay people $250 a week, and I was only there for 4 months. So in a 4-month span,
you get out of there.
Yeah, it went from $250 to $150 to I'll pay y'all next time and I'll, pay the difference and all that. It was times where he couldn't pay us what he agreed to pay us when we came. So, yeah, and
then they put you in a bond because if you don't work, that's your place to stay, and then you ain't got no money to go nowhere else. So it kind of push you in like a bond.
Right. And that was the glory behind it. That was the pretty picture that he wanted to paint was, I'm gonna put you up, in these little trailer homes. And you ain't got to pay rent. You ain't got to pay for anything. I'm going to be paying you $250 a week. I'm going to be doing this and doing that. There was washers and dryers and all that kind of stuff. You really didn't need for anything. But when it came to you not being able to pay, the point for us to be there was to save money.
Right.
Because to us, it was like one of the perfect opportunities. You thinking then 8 years ago, $250 a week, you don't really have anything to pay besides like your cell phone.
Right.
So, food is provided, and we can get into that too. But the food, you don't have rent, you don't have all these other expenses that we have to pay for now on our own. Right. It was like the best situation to be in.
I was gonna ask you, like, describe like your typical day. Because if you work in 14, 16 hours, that's
girl, there was no typical day.
One day you with the monkeys, next day you with the tigers.
There was not a typical day.
I can imagine.
I mean, a typical day, when I started and we got in there, I was on the small animal crew, which was basically like, if you were ever there, and for anyone who's been there, or when you just watch the documentary and you see Joe just walk down this straight line, and that's the middle path throughout the park. So the animals that you see, if they're even there, I don't even know anymore, because watching it, it's like different. I guess when they rebuilt it, it's different enclosures and stuff. So I don't even know if the animals are still there. But when you walk down it, that whole path on the left are the animals that I would take care of. And then there was this big enclosure toward the back that had like different types of monkeys, capuchins, and all other types of monkeys. I took care of the bobcats and, just all kinds of stuff like that, the skunks. I took care of the reptile house, the alligators, like the baby alligators and stuff. And the typical day was just going through cleaning cages, locking down these animals, which was a hassle.
Oh man, I can imagine.
And it was not easy trying to get these animals locked down. So you'd have to bribe them with popsicles and candy and
that's what they were feeding them.
Yeah, to get them to lock down. It was like a treat for them. But you're just trying to do your job. You're trying to get them locked down. So the beauty of it wasn't something that they always got. So you would think, oh, well, they will look forward to it. So lock them down with this so they can get out of your way. So we'd use stuff like that. We'll get them locked down. We'll clean their cages, feed them, wash down everything and all that. So everything was clean. And that's why, Joe really kept a really clean park, because we were able to do things like that. And then you'd have to make sure everything's secure, get them back on the other side, which was hard, because then they want to mess with you. They just trying to fuck with you by that point. So like, I see you on this other side, and now you want me to go back over here, and now I'm not having it. So you got to try to bribe them on the other side. So you got to get them to the other side, lock that side down, and clean that part of it too. So typical days was just that. That's what we did on a normal everyday basis. And then on the small animal crew that I was on, we took care of preparing all the food and stuff like that for all the other animals. So, then when the produce trucks and all that kind of stuff came in, we prepare those, and, we just get everything ready. And it was, a lot of the time, it was just a normal day. We just did normal stuff until crazy shit popped off.
Let's talk about this produce truck, because we seen a documentary, a truck full of expired or old stuff.
Yeah, expired meat and stuff.
And that's the thing though, because that's what I had the biggest problem with, because I'm like, I ate that meat.
Oh, like, so y'all didn't know?
Not expired. It wasn't expired. It was not expired meat. The thing was, if you go to a store and you look at the pantry, you have stuff that says expired,
or used by. You have
best by date, used by date, stuff like that. You have to, and me working at a store like that, there's certain things you just have to get off the shelf before this date. It's not bad, but you have to take it off because it's going to expire soon. So Joe had this plan because, this was around the time where he wasn't making a lot of money. He had the lawsuit with Carol Baskin, and he had to pay her $1 million. So he didn't have the money to be able to be feeding, all these big cats and stuff. So somehow he worked out this deal with Walmart, and Walmart was providing the food that they had to get rid of, but it was still good. So Joe let the employees be able to take, you know, whatever it was that we wanted and, you know, that we could eat off of. It was perfectly fine. I'm still alive to tell this story. So I've never had any kind of foodborne illness or anything like that. So it was all perfectly fine. It was good. No problems with it. And, you know, if anybody wants to think otherwise, you know, whatever, but you know, I'm still here and I know what it was. I seen the date. So it wasn't what the documentary was saying about it being expired or rotten.
Because they made it seem like the meat was like old. But whenever you put it that way, it just sounds like it had reached its date for Walmart. And so Walmart was like, well, we can't sell this no more.
Right. And I was say, working at a place where that's what I do. I'm still like, why don't we donate this? Because you can still, places donate that food instead of just throwing it away. But you got some places that are just like, well, we got to get it off the shelf. We're just going to throw it in the trash. It's still perfectly good food. It's not bad yet.
I think there's still like a regulation on it though, for you to be able to like serve it to other people.
Probably.
Yeah. So they have to like throw it away. So.
Yeah.
That makes sense though. That actually makes a little bit more sense. So at least y'all were like, so was he doing this whole like expired, you know, and we'll be real lenient on the word expired. Was he doing this expired meat thing before the Carol Baskins lawsuit, or was that just strictly after that to like cut corners?
That I'm not sure of. I would say, because I don't know the whole details of when he got into this whole program with Walmart to, you know, be taking their, like they would literally go to different Walmarts, and literally where we were, the closest Walmart was probably like a 15, 20 minute drive, if that. And they were going to different Walmarts. So I understand what people were saying. It's not a refrigerated truck and all that. So by the time you go to all these Walmarts and you get back with it, like it's probably, you know, somewhat bad. It still wasn't bad though.
Right.
But I understand where they can come up with that. It's just because they were going to more than one Walmart and they were picking up meat.
Oh, see, I'm thinking the meat getting delivered. No, they were picking it up.
No, he had a truck and they would go out. I can't remember how many times that truck would go out, but we would get it almost every day. So almost every day they were going out in, you know, like their own truck, like an 18-wheeler, and they were going to different Walmarts and they were picking up meat.
Wow. So y'all would pick out like the T-bone steaks and like the good shit.
Yeah.
And then the tigers would eat whatever's left. Sausage, chitlins, pig feet.
No, because the thing was, when we feed the tigers, we go into, I don't know if you remember from the documentary, but there was like a big white shed that was sometimes at the back. And we would go into that shed. And it was basically like an assembly line that we'd form. And we would basically take like just the chicken, the leg quarters, you know, stuff like that. And there was so much of it. So we would make bags of it. And we would just put together, you know, such and such many bags. And that's what we would feed to them. And it was all good. You know, it wasn't bad or anything like that, but mainly they would be getting these bags of chicken.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, we was taking like the steaks and shit. No, don't get it twisted. We taking the steaks.
Okay. So you weren't there whenever they like, because on there they made the accusation that they had opened up like a pizza spot on the property and that they were using some of the old meat for the pizzas.
Yes. That spot, oh my God. Like Joe it was in the work, but I guess he didn't have the money to like fund it and all that. He wanted to turn it into a bar.
Joe stayed lit.
That sounds like a good idea. Tigers and beer.
Yeah. So Joe wanted to turn this place into a bar. He had the whole setup, like the decorations and all that. It was a bar. And it never happened. And we were waiting on it. So, because we was, and the funny thing about it is though Joe did not allow alcohol on the property.
What? And he wanted
a bar.
But he wanted a bar. And I was like, well, how the fuck is this going to work, Joe?
Yeah, you're going to have to.
Like, you don't allow alcohol.
Right.
Yeah. But he wanted to make that whole thing a bar and all that. Obviously selling alcohol and all of that. But employees could not drink.
But but didn't he do drugs?
Yeah.
So how that work? Could y'all do drugs?
No. Well, shit. I didn't do drugs. I don't do drugs. Say no to drugs, kids.
Okay.
But
that's what I'm saying. If somebody was smoking weed, would he be like, "Don't do that here"?
No, I'm sure they was doing that. I'm sure that was not a problem. People smoked weed.
Did other stuff.
Yeah, weed wasn't a problem. The whole meth thing, that just was a revelation to me. I did not know about that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can imagine somebody wouldn't be just real high key with smoking meth.
I smoke meth.
And that's why I didn't know about it, because I'm like, okay, you don't even allow people to drink alcohol.
Right.
So the whole meth thing was like, but I always just suspected something of Joe because he had that little sniffle. And, you see in it where he like kind of, turns his mouth and nose up a little bit, and he's always like, and I'm like, okay, he on something. He doing something. I'm not going to say what he doing, but he doing something over there.
Right.
But the whole meth thing was just, that came out of nowhere for me. But he didn't allow alcohol because when he started it, his brother was killed in a car accident from a drunk driver. So he named the park after his brother.
Right.
And he told us there is no alcohol allowed on this park. And if I catch you drinking or whatever, you're fired. You got to go home or where.
That's actually...
I could have hid it in my boob. I don't know.
No, that's actually crazy though, to think that like Joe was that like eccentric and stuff and didn't drink. So imagine if he had like included alcohol with whatever drug usage that he was doing.
I would not be there.
Ooh, girl. He would have been too lit.
Were so many times where, and I tell people the first day that I was there, I should have ran. I should have went away.
Damn.
But I stayed. And I'm just like, I had a chimp throw his shit on me.
Oh, girl.
And I stayed.
That was the first day?
That was the first day.
Oh,
that was my initiation to the joke cult or whatever you want to call it. But that was the very first day. I had calluses on my hands.
Girl.
I had to go in with some chimp. And Bo, who you can see in the documentary, he's the one that had like the... I don't know what you call it. It's kind of like vitiligo, like for people. But I guess chimp can get vitiligo too.
Oh.
Yeah. So the chimp that you see in the documentary that it looks like he has vitiligo, that was Bo. That motherfucker threw his shit on me.
Damn.
Very first day.
That's crazy.
Like I say, that's his way of saying hello.
I bet Joe was just laughing, everybody laughing, thinking shit just funny.
Joe had shirts that said it said Bo's name. Bo threw his shit on me or something like that. He had names for this.
Oh my god!
Because it happened all the time.
That's crazy. Now, see, that's one thing you got to give Joe. Joe was a fool with the merch. Like Joe knew how to. He knew how to put some damn merch together.
Oh yeah. He can advertise for anything.
Yes, like you definitely got to give him that. So I did have like a quick question though. So something else they talked about on there was about how dirty like the living quarters was. Did it really look like that?
That shit, whatever those people were doing, that's them. That didn't have nothing to do. And you know what? Did y'all read the post that I had and had the comments and all that from Joe where he called us pigs?
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah. Joe, the day that I left, well, not the day that I left, but probably the next day or whatever, and I was saying how I was happy to be back and all that, and how I wasn't going to slaughter a cow and all that kind of stuff. A pregnant cow.
Wait, he wanted you to kill a cow?
Yes, kill and slaughter this cow to feed to the tigers.
Girl, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I wasn't having it, so that's the reason why we left initially. I mean, there were other reasons too,
right?
But that was like it. Because Joe was like, if you don't do it, you're fired.
Oh, shit. Let me do that for you.
Okay, well, right. I voluntarily terminate my position here.
Wow.
But there was that shit. And then what else? What did you ask before that?
Oh, about the living space. Like, because they made it seem like that shit looked bad.
And that's what I say, because Joe hired like convicts or you know, formal convicts, and you know, people just really that had no place to go,
right,
and all that kind of stuff. And when we went there, it wasn't like we didn't have a place to go. It was just like, oh, cool opportunity,
right?
So you know, we went, and the living quarters, it wasn't that bad. You know, he had like 3-4 trailer homes there. You know, they weren't that bad. The one that I was in was like the very first one that it was like the initiation process where everyone who came in that was new would just be in this trailer. It was like 3 bedrooms, but it was like you piled everybody who was new into this home. So of course it's going to get a little filthy
with all the people.
When you have, and you got different people who don't know each other. I don't know if this person is clean. You know, nothing like that.
Right.
So, and it was a point where I was the only female with like 5 guys.
Oh, damn.
How was that?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm the only person cleaning up in here. So of course it's going to get a little filthy. So Joe came in one day and he was just, you know, raising hell. And then he found some empty beer bottles and stuff.
Oh, it went crazy.
Yeah. So, you know, not to say we respected the fact that he didn't want alcohol and all that kind of stuff, but you know, I think at the back of his mind, he knew, you know, people were drinking, people were smoking, people were doing whatever. So, you know, it happened, and you know, we would drink and whatever. There was one time we had a whole party.
Damn.
And yeah, and it was one of the dudes that I think he was like the photographer or something, or he did the recordings and stuff like that. He had a whole party, you know, toward the back of where like all the homes were, and he had like a little camper or whatever. So he just threw a party, and everybody came out for the party. So everybody's drinking and smoking and whatever.
Right.
So, you know, we still did these things, but as far as the homes, I had never went in any of those homes and saw it the way that it was in those documentaries. Like they just let that go.
Yeah, that shit looked bad.
To have a rat in your drawer.
Yeah.
No, I'd never seen a rat running up in there.
Damn.
Like it was times where it did get dirty, but you got people who are working like 16 hours a day.
Yeah, you know, the last thing you want to do when you come home is clean.
Right.
Right. I ain't cleaning. I barely wanted to cook.
Facts.
So.
Damn, but how can Joe expect for you to work a 16-hour day and not want to have a drink? Like, what the fuck? You're going to have to do something to unwind.
And I'm working with tigers and lions and bears. Oh my. Like, I got bit on the ass. Like, I got bit in the hand. Like, I thought my whole arm was about to get taken off. And you thought I wasn't going to have a drink?
Facts.
So you stayed.
You crazy.
You stayed after you got bit in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
Yeah, how did that happen?
Girl. I came to finally realize Joe was right about something. And I realized this because Joe always wanted to say if anything happened to any employee on his grounds, it was the employee's fault.
Ooh, shit.
And you know from the documentary, Joe is ready. Joe carried them guns because he's ready to shoot a person, not the animal. he is ready to take anybody out, but not that animal. So, being on the crew that I was on, there was a Bobby the Bobcat, and this is why people don't believe my story, I guess, because his name is Bobby and he's a bobcat. And people are like, really, you made that up? And I'm like, no, I didn't. There's really Bobby the Bobcat.
Nah, that sounds like something Joe would do. Yeah. Name a bobcat Bobby.
Exactly. So Bobby is on this route that I have to take care of. And fucked up part about it is when Joe did his shows, Bobby was one of the animals that he took. So one of the employees ended up, the enclosure gate things that you lift up and lift down to let them out.
Oh, yeah.
And let them in.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody dropped it on his head.
On the bobcat's head?
On the bobcat's head.
Damn.
So he was like having neurological problems and all that kind of stuff. And you actually see him in the documentary.
Oh, there's someone having a seizure?
Point, yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Wait.
So you'll see.
No, that's okay.
I don't know if he was having a seizure in the documentary, but you'll see Joe in the foreground, and then you see it looks like a tiger, but it's actually the bobcat, and he's like just walking around like in a circle. And this is what Bobby did all day, and he's just walking around in a circle.
I do remember that
because his brain is fucked up.
Damn.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So he's walking around in a circle. And my job was to give him this little orange pill that's supposed to like kind of calm him and just make him, relax and sit down. So the only way you can do it is either putting it in his food, which was chicken, or putting it in his mouth. And I said, wait a minute, I'm black. I'm not about to be putting this. I'm not about to put my hand in this bobcat's mouth. So if you didn't do that and you put it in his food, you have to basically sit there and watch him eat it, or you got to come back and see if the pill is still there. And when he's chewing, you can see the pill kind of like fall out of his mouth. I'm like, well, shit, he knows it's there.
Right.
So, so I go in and I'm like, okay, I gotta put it in his mouth. Okay, let me get ready for this because I've never done this before. And my stupid behind, I forget that I just opened the chicken and put the chicken in his bowl, and I didn't wash my hands. So now my hands still smell like chicken juice. So I go take the pill, I go to put it in his mouth, and he bite down.
Damn.
And I'm just like, oh Lord, my whole life is over.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, I'm screaming. I'm like, somebody help. And at the time, I think I had by this time, I'm a key holder. So I'm in charge of the crew that I'm on, and I'm yelling at them like somebody call for help. And so they're getting on the radio, and Joe, ain't nowhere to be found. And Joe, when he is to be found, he's blaming me for what happened.
Damn.
So I'm like, are you serious? You just gonna blame me for this?
And you bleeding?
No, I still have the bobcat on my hand.
Girl, shut up.
And he blaming you?
I'm thinking, and he's blaming me. Don't come to help, but blame me for why the bobcat is on my hand. So my initial reaction is just pick this bobcat up. So, because I've seen the way he eats, and they go crazy and start shaking their head and they're trying to rip stuff apart. So I just go down and I'm like, okay, I got to pick this bobcat up. So I pick him up and I'm holding him just so he does not try to rip my hand off. And eventually, I guess maybe he senses like my hand is not a chicken thigh. So he lets loose. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And by this time, John, who the guy, I'm dating, and you know, he comes, obviously, and some other people come. And I finally go to the office, and Joe was like in the office. Like, ain't no thing, you know, nothing just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he's blaming me for what happened, wraps up my hand, and I'm sitting there bleeding and shit.
Damn.
And it's just like, you know, it's your fault.
And Joe just
if
sitting there talking
anything
shit.
happens, it's your fault. Mm-hmm.
Damn. So did you have to go
like,
to the hospital or like get stitches?
No.
Just heal.
Mm-hmm. Heal and go back to work.
Girl, that is crazy.
I literally went back to work. Just like Saf, I went back to work.
Right.
Same day?
Same day.
Oh, hell
Went
no.
back to work.
Oh, no.
Just with my hand wrapped up.
Oh, hell no. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck this zoo. Fuck this bobcat. Fuck you.
Right. And that's how I felt. I was like, you know, fuck this whole shit. Like, what you mean?
Hell
you
yeah.
didn't come to my rescue. You ain't throw your EMS bomber on. You just sat there in the office. You didn't even come for me.
Damn. So that tells you.
You just thought if I was attacked, it was my fault.
Yep. So that tells you
And,
how much he cared about Steph.
mm-hmm.
So did he really
I'm thinking
have?
in my head, he gonna come and shoot this motherfucker.
Right. That's what.
No.
I mean, that's what I would think. Like,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
it sounds like
My life or his.
right. So did he really have like this like bond with these animals that he claimed he did?
Oh, he did. He did. Crazy as it is, he did. Most of those animals that were there, he raised. He bottle fed.
Right.
I mean, some of them he got from other people, other places, and all that. But it's one of the best things about it when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of the craziest things because you're like, I mean, you think, you know, people in Africa and all that, you know, or just how we were before. People roamed the earth with these animals.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nothing. And then people think, oh no, they're wild, they're this, they're that. I was never in fear for my life because of how I saw them interact with him.
Right. I mean, they're all domesticated to like, it's still a tiger, like it's still a lion, but it's a domesticated one.
Right. Like there was a bear that got out and I was just like, okay, cool. Cool. This bear's out, you know, where he at? You know, just make sure he good.
Right.
You know, nobody messing with him.
Damn. That's crazy. See, because whenever I finished the documentary, like I really thought to myself, I was like, okay, you know, I think that Joe had good intentions with like this zoo or like this park, but I think it was just something that got out of hand. Like
Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
Carol fucking Baskin.
So did he walk around talking shit about Carol all the time?
You know what? Before I got there, I believe it's when the lawsuit had happened, was like way before then.
Mm-hmm.
And he owed her $1 million. He mentioned her every once in a while. It wasn't as much as the documentary, but she was mentioned. And I think just over the years, just from her actually, because a lot of people were saying like, okay, does she really think she's going to get $1 million out of him? He had nothing.
Right. But animals.
He had absolutely nothing. So for you to actually try to claim your millions from someone who couldn't even, he was getting Walmart meat.
Right.
Like,
it tells you something.
Right. And it was just like, okay, Carol, you're going a little too far. Calm the fuck down. You know, take a chill tablet, let it marinate.
One of them orange
You're not
pills.
about to get $1 million.
But I think the thing is, she wanted to ruin him because she knew he didn't have $1 million. So if you don't have $1 million, then you won't have to give me $1 million in property and other stuff
and assets and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And he had nothing. And like I said, he had the tour buses and all that when I was there. So she ain't came for that yet.
Right.
But I met his mom. She was there.
Oh, she looked so sweet. She looked like she just got caught up in the middle of some bullshit.
Yeah, she was. And I was there, I guess, around the time where, you know, Joe was trying to extract money from his mom.
Huh? Like it might like.
Yeah, like at one point
I didn't finish watching this.
But then, Brittany, you ain't finished it yet.
Yeah.
I watched y'all's last, or I listened to y'all's last podcast like 6 days ago. And you hadn't finished it yet.
Yeah, I still haven't.
So like at one point, Carol, he owed Carol so much money that the only way to stop her from coming after the zoo, he had to start transferring the zoo into other people's names. So he put it into his husband's name, then took it from him. But every time he transferred it into somebody else's name, Carol would just go after that person. So he put it in his mama name. And he started he basically drained his parents.
The mama's house.
Yeah, he drained his parents. Like the mama got on TV and was like, "We're broke."
Dang.
Yeah. And that's what I don't understand either is how are you going to try to take the mama's house, his mom and dad's house? That has nothing to do with him.
Right. Carol just didn't give a fuck.
She didn't. She was a bitch.
She really was. She was ruthless. And
Mm-hmm.
what was so trippy to me about the whole thing was, okay, Carol, you're supposed to be an activist and you literally are like taking these animals from one enclosure to another, and your shit looked worse than Joe's.
Her shit was horrible.
Like, your shit looked bad. And at least Joe was paying people. Carol had everybody volunteering to work there, and they work in the same 16-hour days.
That pissed me off the most. Because when you say volunteer, you're thinking, someone's giving their work voluntarily with no pay. They're volunteering for this. Joe called his employees volunteers, but he paid us $250 a week. He gave us free housing. He gave us food. This bitch had people just up in there cleaning up all kinds of shit and feeding these lions and tigers and stuff for nothing.
Yeah, she didn't even know who they were.
No,
they had like a shirt system.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
So if you're blue, then I know who you are. You're
right. You just started.
You really doing it for the love at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't love nothing that much.
And the way she just manipulated people, and I don't want to say crazy white women, but I'm gonna say crazy white women because you ain't seen no black woman up in there.
Yeah, man, you ain't lying.
But besides my crazy ass, but. The crazy white women that she had, she's my hero. And they're crying.
Yeah.
Like a Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, you shedding tears for this?
Over this bitch?
Like, you into this.
This murderer?
This is real for you.
Facts. You think Carol did it?
She's not even pitying you. Do I think Carol did it?
Yeah.
I was told not to say anything about this.
Oh, okay. Don't say nothing. It's okay. Shit, I think I did it.
I think she did it.
I mean, I think so too. I mean, it just makes sense to me, but
I'm just saying my thoughts. I don't have I do not disclaimer. I do not have facts. I do not have legal proof. I don't have none of that. But you tell me somebody that got millions and you came with nothing.
Facts.
Absolutely nothing. And he say he want to divorce you and you gonna leave with nothing. And you got access to tigers? You gonna find a way.
Okay. You ain't lying.
Okay.
You is not lying.
It's like you ask God to handle your problem and like the solution right there.
And then a tiger
I'm
looking
like,
at you.
Can I get a tiger?
God, I just don't know what I'm gonna do, God. I'm broke and he trying to leave me. Yeah, tiger stomach growl.
Tiger, there's a way.
For real.
There's a tiger, there's a way.
for real.
I feel like a tiger can solve a lot of your problems in life.
Girl. And create
they had their theories and speculations, the septic tank.
Yeah.
The meat grinder. I don't believe the meat grinder thing.
Oh, yeah. They did say that. And I was like, and then what was so crazy was like, I feel like if I was with a crew being accused of something, I wouldn't try to explain every theory they have. I would just be like, look, I didn't do that shit. Like, don't ask me nothing else. Right. She's sitting there like, well, the meat grinder could only hold 5 pounds. And he was a 180 pound man. Like, why are you trying to rationalize this, girl? If you didn't do it.
Even if I tried to explain it, I wouldn't explain it and laugh.
Exactly.
Like, what are you laughing at? What's funny? Who told the joke?
Yeah.
Your husband is dead or disappeared.
Right.
You haven't cared for 5 years.
Exactly. You ain't looked for him.
And now we in 2020 and you still laughing.
Yeah.
Where's the joke?
Yeah. And then try to downplay her brother, like she don't really know him, and her brother worked for the police department. Like, girl, if you don't get the fuck,
let me tell you, my mama got 7 kids. Mm-hmm. Okay, y'all know.
Yeah,
7 kids. The biggest age gap is 14 years. Mm-hmm. And you mean to tell me because you was 15 and your brother was 9?
Yes,
y'all didn't have a relationship.
Yeah, like you didn't know him.
Hell, I knew all your brothers and sisters. I knew when your mama had them.
No, for real. Like, what?
Right.
I remember y'all coming to school like, well, my mama had another baby, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Girl, you remember we had that talent show, and me, you, and Brittany, we sang the Black People National Anthem.
Oh, yeah, lift every voice.
Oh my God!
My mom was going into labor at that point.
I remember that. That because the next day y'all came back and said y'all had a brother. I remember, and after that y'all left. Like a little bit after that.
Yeah,
damn.
Yeah, we got picked up that night in the snow. It was snowing that night.
I remember that.
That one hell of a memory.
Because I forgot. Damn, we did sing "Lift Every Voice." That's crazy. Fuck.
I remember everything. Not really. I got a bad memory, but I remember a lot.
Remember the important stuff.
And I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, we was supposed to be a group too.
Right? What happened?
Girl, none of us had enough talent.
Girl, I can't.
Me and Whitney, I do remember me and Whitney used to write though.
For real?
Yes. Yeah, we did. Like she would like give me a song to like write to. And I write to it, or I give her a song to write to, and she write to it. That's what I do. Like we used to write like a lot. Tough.
We did. That was good times, bro. Good times.
Whitney, I just can't believe that you over here, Tiger Princess.
No, for real, for real.
Yeah. Every day I go into work, my boss, "What's up, Tiger Queen?" I'm like, God dang. How did it come to this?
Girl, that's crazy. It's really crazy.
And the first day after people like heard about it, I go into work, "Oh my God, you're famous." And I'm like, no, I'm not. Don't tell nobody about this.
Right.
So are you still friends with anybody that worked there or like keep in contact with or know anybody?
No, the black guy that I was talking about, I don't know if I could say his name or, because the thing, I don't know if anybody else is talking about it. The people that were working there when I was there.
Right.
Like I said, Danny, and a lot of the people, like if you see my Facebook and all that kind of stuff, you can see some of the people in it, Bonnie, Danny. But some of the other people, like the black guy, I probably last spoke to him maybe 6 years ago or so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And so I don't know where he is. I tried to even go down like my messages. It's a lot. So I just stopped. But I wanted to find like anybody else who was there at this time, because they were talking about how Jeff Lowe came in. Mm-hmm. And when he came in, he like fired everybody and all that kind of stuff. And when I watched the documentary, like I was like, who are these people? Like at the beginning, it was Bonnie and Danny, people that I can recognize. Mm-hmm. And then everybody else was different. And I was like, so everybody's gone? Like, and I wondered what happened to them.
Did they have I feel like that's like a high turnover rate.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. I feel like
you go, you say your money, you get gone.
Yeah. Like I feel like Joe either had people who been there for a really long time or people who ain't been there that long. Mm-hmm. Like it was no in between.
Mm-hmm. Like when I was there, the people that were there were there for years. Mm-hmm. Like Rinky that you see, the guy that lost both his legs.
Mm-hmm. I liked him.
Yeah. He was real cool dude. He was the one that I seen the most because he was like the manager of the park.
Right.
So he was always there. Mm-hmm. Finley was always there. Mm-hmm. Joe was always there. Joe, he would have his days where he just pops up sick. And I don't know why he's sick, but he can't make it to work. But for majority of the time he was there. We were all there 6 days a week. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of the people that were there, and you see them in the beginning, and I see them, I'm like, oh my God, the person is still there. Since this was all 5 years in the making, mm-hmm. and I'm like, oh my God, these people were still there, years after I left, mm-hmm. and then they're gone. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so what happened? Was this because of Jeff Lowe, bitch ass? Or, was this something else?
Mm-hmm.
And, they just left. But those were loyal people. But when Joe made that comment right after I had left,
mm-hmm.
and he was saying how, oh, well, we're getting rid of the people that, don't need to be here. We got people that do need to be here. That was right after I left.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, who are the people are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Because I spoke to one of the people, the black guy,
mm-hmm.
who was still there. And he was still saying the same people that were there when I was there were still there.
Joe probably saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody that was in that documentary, I had never, Eric Crow, whatever his name was,
Mm-hmm.
don't know who he was. Staff, don't know who she was. Even Travis, never met Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Travis was after me. The girl Amber that Finley fucked off with,
got her pregnant.
She was there after me,
mm-hmm.
and it was so many people that I'm just like, who is this? But that's how it happened, though. There were a lot of people in and out. There was a white guy that was there when we came in. Like a couple of days later, he was gone.
Damn.
So people were coming in and out. I don't know why they were leaving, or better opportunity, or whatever they made for themselves. But turnover was quick.
Yeah, I can imagine. That don't look like yeah.
But it was a lot of crazy stuff going on.
What else crazy went on, Whitney? That sounds like some crazy shit. You get bit in your ass and your hand and your hand in a bobcat mouth, and he got a gun aimed at you. What else is crazier than that?
Right.
I mean, probably not crazier than that. At least not for me. But like as far as the studio burning down,
mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That shit. And I'm going to say once again, just like the whole Carabasket thing, I ain't got proof.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe Joe did it.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't got proof.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, it was him.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talked to, the person that was with us, I don't even want to say his name.
Right.
But he told me, oh, yeah, that happened. Oh, yeah, I knew all about that. Joe was, planning this, planning that. I'm just like, God damn, where was I?
Girl, I feel like that's the beauty of this whole thing.
Yep.
Black women mind their motherfucking business
Hell
at work.
yeah.
Like, I go to work, I do my job, and I go home.
I ain't over here trying to plan a damn arson with you.
Okay, I ain't planning no Tiger birthday party and
at all.
Happy hour with the staff.
Right, and we ain't discussing Carol. We ain't doing none of that.
I'm going home. I'm off.
Mm-hmm. I'm going home.
Thanks.
I'm going home. And I'm like, where was I? Because he even said I met Jeff Lowe. And I'm like, when?
Mm-hmm.
When did I meet Jeff Lowe? But apparently, and I remember, it's like the Mandela effect.
Mm-hmm.
I remember meeting Jeff Lowe, but I don't remember meeting Jeff Lowe.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like you feel like you crossed paths with him.
Yeah. Because it was so close, tight knit. It wasn't a lot of people. You had your crews, you had the employees, and you just had Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a lot of people. So when people did come in, like, you knew.
Right.
So at some point, I met Jeff Lowe,
mm-hmm.
but I don't remember meeting him.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I saw it and all that, I'm like, wait. Who is that?
Right.
Like, I know that dude.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that I was with, he was like, yeah, you met him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what? I met him. He was like, yeah, he was there. He was talking to us and all this and that. And I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember it.
So, Whitney, what did it's crazy. 'Cause I know your mama. What did your mama think about you working at a zoo?
Yeah, did she ever be like, girl, come home?
Then?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure then it wasn't like, no crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure then it was like, oh, it's a job, or I don't know.
Well, you know what? When it first happened, everybody was mad. First of all, because I pretty much went AWOL. Like I pretty much went just MIA. I was gone. Mm-hmm. And so I had a lot of friends, a lot of family, and they were just trying to reach out to me and all that. And it wasn't like I was trying to keep people out of the loop of what I was doing and where I was at or nothing like that. But like I said, I was 22 years old when this happened. I was stupid. I was young. I was dumb. I was, I had just gotten into a new relationship. I was getting out of an old relationship that was, on and off for 5 years. That was like my first relationship. I didn't know what I was doing. So I was just like, okay, let's do it. Let's just go. So, most of I had friends and family, contacting me, texting me. I don't think anybody really called me though. So shows how much they care. But
if I was like, well, the girl over there at that damn zoo, y'all, she ain't listening to nobody.
She posting on Facebook. I guess she
yeah, she fine.
No one knew where I was going.
What?
No one knew where I was going. I just went.
So you just
and I lost a lot of. Sadly to say, I lost a lot of friends because of the relationship that I was in and what I had done. And I'm still sad about that to this day, that I lost the friendships that I had, but at the same time, like I gained this experience and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sad about anything. And most of the people of the friendships that I lost, like I'm reconnected with them. I talk to them, all that kind of stuff. No animosity.
That's good.
Yeah, but at that time, I didn't tell anybody where I was going.
Dang, that's crazy. To just pick up and move to Wynnewood,
and
Oklahoma.
Then to deal with all that like by yourself.
Yeah, girl. And like I say, it wasn't as bad. Like I say, Joe was crazy. He was. Joe would come out the side of his neck any way that he wanted to.
I'm sure.
He would tell you whatever he wanted because he was Joe. He ran the park, and he would threaten people all the time. If you don't want to be here, then you can leave. Most of these people ain't got anywhere to go.
Right. Ain't got no options.
Right. So they just there. And then, but the best part about it is not many people can say they lay their head where they can hear tigers and lions like roaring and mating or whatever the hell they were doing. It was loud. I don't know what it was, but it was loud. But it was peaceful.
I can see that. I can see that. Tina over here making faces, but I'm just like, because she sleep to rain and all the other stuff. I honestly can see how like tired. I can see how it can be peaceful.
Yeah, like I can't mimic the sound of it.
Like I ain't gonna like even nature. Try. It just I feel like it just sound like nature.
Yeah. But you know what? The thing to me is that that's not nature. Because
it's not natural.
It's not natural.
Yeah. It's not natural. It's not. I mean, what they're doing is natural, but they're not in the habitat that they should be in.
Right. And so that's the reason. That's whenever I watched it, I was like, wow, like this is no different than, like people who were like I know this is really off topic, but like people were very upset with Michael Vick. This ain't no different, y'all.
Right.
Like just because it's cute and little baby cubs and things like that, like these are still animals that are being mistreated.
Well, then they talked about like him killing animals.
Yeah. Like duh, that's a fact. And even the one guy on there, what was his name? Like Doc or whatever.
Doc Ansel.
They like quoted him, or he was like, a baby cub is only going to like make you money for so long, and then you got to get rid of it.
And then you got to go. What you gonna do with them?
Yeah, what you gonna do with them?
Scared of them after that,
right? Like, but see, I'm different because I'm so against like zoos and like aquariums and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I see it from a different angle.
And I never thought about it. When we was kids and we was in school, and they'll take you on the little field trips, and you go to the Dallas Fort Worth Zoo, and all that kind of stuff. And it was cool because you was kids and you wanted to see the animals. But then when you grow up and you can witness stuff like this, and you're thinking about, well, how are these animals really, raised and trained and cared for and all that. And one thing I could say, people want to say that Joe abused these animals. The only time I've seen Joe abuse an animal, which I didn't even see in person, I seen from the documentary, was when that tiger dragged his ass.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only time that I've seen him abuse an animal. And it's like what Carol Baskin was talking about and what other people may talk about. I don't know besides just her because she had this whole vendetta against him.
Right.
But what she was talking about is completely different because she over there doing the same thing.
The exact same thing. You using used animals. Like you getting
used animals.
You getting secondhand animals.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, that's I was like.
But when she started, she was doing the same thing. She was breeding.
Yep.
She was selling.
Yep.
She was doing all it.
Yeah, and then tried to turn into some like holier than thou. Like, bitch, you running the same shit, if not worse.
You doing the same goddamn thing.
Like, her cages were smaller.
Her place didn't look clean.
Yeah, her place wasn't clean. Like, Joe had at least a little bit more land and shit like that. Like,
Joe would get so mad. Joe would get pissed if them cages weren't clean, if them water bowls weren't, if he seen any little speck of green, because I guess in the bowls, like the little water trout things, and they were white. So you'd have to clean them out every day to make sure that they stay clean.
Right.
If you don't, the little green stuff builds up in them.
Oh, like algae or whatever.
Yeah, and you can tell when they haven't been cleaned for a while. Joe would come through that shit, and if it wasn't cleaned, you almost lost your job. Like, he would get mad just about the water. So for her to sit there and want to say, oh, he's abusing the animals and all that, Joe was ready to fire people. Joe would pull out his gun and shoot somebody
over these animals.
If the thing wasn't clean.
Yeah.
Because he wanted his animals to have, clean water. And, I started respecting that because me being a part of the small animal crew, and, everybody was afraid for me because I went in with hyenas.
Oh,
damn!
I heard hyenas.
Hyenas.
Hyenas eat everything. Like, there's nothing left behind.
Their jaws are like, what I hear. I haven't really researched them. I don't really care to research them. I know about them enough.
What I heard,
but their jaws apparently are like. It's stronger than like a lion and tiger and all that kind of stuff. So if they lock down on you, like you're done. That's it.
Their stomach acid dissolves really fast. That's why they're like always hungry.
Yeah. And Joe said that about the tigers, and that's why they were saying, he could feed, or Carol Baskin could feed her husband to a tiger, and there'll be nothing left.
Yeah.
But
I need to get rid of.
Bye, fam.
How long you think it'll take a dog?
Girl, forever. If it eat it.
Girl, facts.
Smell like fuck, nigga.
Smell like ain't shit.
Yeah. Smell like bitch assness.
I smelled it, but you didn't. I tried to warn you.
Shut up.
But you told me to shut up and stop all my barking.
Stop it. Okay, so Whitney, I have one more question for you. Yeah. So if you could go back in time and do this all over again, would you go back to Winniewood? What was the name of the park? I don't even remember.
At the time that I was there?
Yeah. Well,
when I was there, it was the GW Exotic Zoo, Animal Park, whatever they wanted to say. But it was the Gerald Wayne after his brother. And now it's like the Greater Winniewood, whatever.
Bullshit.
They just took the brand name away too?
Girl, that new owner. That new owner.
Yeah, they had to change it. They had to change up everything.
Yeah. So would you go back and like do this all over again? And if you would, is there anything that you would change or do different?
I would absolutely do it again.
Wow.
And if I had to change anything,
I mean, you don't have to. If you want to do the exact same experience.
Yeah, I don't. The only thing I would change is taking that monkey out that they said had AIDS.
Huh?
I would take him out of the equation.
Huh? Wait, what? Okay, now you got it. Like Whitney, you just can't jump into a story like that and
just throw AIDS out there.
Yeah, I ain't answered. They bye. Like, what the? Hold on, come back. I got questions. Now, what happened?
Yes, okay. Like I was saying, in the back there was like this whole thing of monkeys that I had to take care of. And at the back there was like 2, 3, 4, 5 different monkeys that I had to take care of. The one at the very back, they told me this monkey had AIDS.
What the fuck? Who told you that?
Everybody said this monkey got AIDS, so be careful.
They said it started with monkeys.
But Whitney ain't fucking up the monkey.
But they said it started with monkeys.
Exactly.
What the monkey gonna do?
What if she had a cut? What if the bobcat bit her?
Bit you or cut you or grabbed you? I don't know what this monkey was about to do, but he wasn't about to get me.
I heard that. Fuck that. Let me stay away from you.
So what happened? How you did you have to interact with the AIDS monkey?
Yes, I had to lock him down and shit. Like I had to.
Girl, I would have used the longest stick with him. Here, just go ahead and eat your shit.
I figured out.
Give him all the popsicles.
I figured out he likes Twizzlers.
Y'all was really like, I thought y'all were luring them in with candy. Y'all was really feeding them candy.
No, I mean we were luring them, but at the same time, like, I mean they like candy. They can eat candy.
Oh shit! Damn.
Yeah, candy ain't no bad part of their diet. But they can eat candy. They can have a little sugar. They might get rowdy a little after.
A little something sweet.
You see the monkey over there after dinner. I really want something sweet.
They got a little rowdy afterwards.
That bitch come with the Twizzlers.
Let me pretend to scratch it.
It was the best way to get them locked down. There was one monkey, his fat ass, Isaiah. He was a little.
He gave the monkey a black name. He gave the monkey a black name, fam.
No, he got a monkey name so somebody can say, where's Isaiah? Y'all lost Isaiah? He ain't slick. I see what you're doing,
Isaiah
Joe.
was one of the easiest monkeys to lock down. He was a little fat, little capuchin monkey.
Oh.
So you just give him a little anything, and he'll just get it. He was so easy to lock down. But he was a cute little thing. And
can I ask more of these names, Whitney?
Huh?
Yeah, what was the AIDS monkey name?
I can't remember his name.
HIV.
HIV.
Wow, that's wild.
You'd be like Hova, Hiva.
Oh my gosh. Bruh, what the fuck?
I don't remember his name.
What were some more of the animals' names? Because you said Isaiah.
Isaiah, I loved Isaiah. He was a chunky little thing. That was my baby.
So did they all have Ricky? You said, what were the other names?
Who, Ricky?
Ricky. So they had these animals had regular names.
Yeah. Ricky was a spider monkey. He was a bad motherfucker though. Ooh, Ricky was bad. Like Ricky, there was of course this isn't in the documentary because it was before, but there was and I wondered if I should even talk about this because not to go on to the like transgender community and all that kind of stuff, but there was a girl that came in and it was her boyfriend, but it was a girl.
Okay.
So
female to male transition.
Yeah. And this is where the whole stupid nigger comment popped off towards John. So, Joe actually pulled out his gun on that incident too.
What?
Damn, I'm remembering everything now.
And you stayed.
Yeah.
What will it take, Whitney?
She loved the monkey.
Girl, she ain't care. You ain't give a damn about them damn monkeys.
I didn't. I did. I love those monkeys. They were bad, but I loved them.
I can imagine. You spend enough time around anything, you'll fall in love with it.
Right. And I did grow a fondness. I won't say love, but I grew a fondness for for these animals. I have to care for them. I got to keep them alive at least. So, Joe walk in here and they dead, he gonna blame me.
Right.
And,
then you be a stupid nigga again.
Right. And Ricky was actually his favorite monkey. So Ricky, in his enclosure though, the gate there was this one little side door thing that you have to close. But when you close it, it won't stay closed. Like he can open it back up.
The monkey can't open the gate up.
Yeah. I mean, they got hands like us.
Right.
So he can just put his little fingers in there and just open the thing back up and get back out. So we closed him down and locked him down. But that little part of it, to clean his outside enclosure, someone had to go inside the enclosure and keep it closed. But there was this gap in between it that didn't stay closed. So Ricky would stick his hand between it, and the boy that was in there trying to keep it closed, and Ricky scratched that motherfucker up. I mean, bleeding, blood is everywhere, and just screaming to me like, hurry up, hurry up. And I'm like, what is going on? So I look over and Ricky got his dang arm through there and just scratching.
Damn.
And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? So I try to hurry up and all that. And I'm like, okay. But my thing was, for me to actually get out of here, have you get out of here before this monkey opens this gate and get out while you're still in here, we got a problem.
Damn.
So I'm like, you better act fast. You better act really fast because them monkeys was quick. So, and he's a spider monkey. So they do all kinds of like crazy stuff. But I won't say he was able to get out of there, just with a scratched up arm, blood, and all that kind of stuff all over the place. And, once again, Joe didn't care.
Of course.
It was his fault.
Because, that was his favorite monkey. So he probably rooted him on. I was like, good job, buddy.
Damn.
That shit crazy.
That was a cold one.
It was a lot of fun times, but it was a lot of crazy times, like when the tigers got loose, or the lions got loose.
On the park?
Not on the park, but they got locked. They were locked into their enclosure, but there were 2 employees inside the enclosure.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, so it was the chimp house where they would lock down all the chimps and clean their enclosures. But at the chimp house, you also had like other lions and lioness and all that stuff. So there were 2 employees who went to lock down either the chimps or the lions. I don't know which one. Well, I guess they locked down the lions first. Somebody did not lock the lions enclosure. So the lions got out. So they're roaming through this enclosure, and the employees are inside the chimp house. So they can't get out of the chimp house because their only way of getting out is to get out, and they have to go back through where the lions are, but the lions are out. So at that point, like everybody's on their radios and you hear Joe calling and he's telling everybody to run and get to the chimp house and all this and that. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so we all run to the chimp house and you just see a lion and a lioness just running through that motherfucker. I'm like,
what the fuck?
Oh, this is what we doing now, Joe. I'm gone. I'm gone. Because I'm either gonna witness you kill one of them,
right,
or they're gonna eat somebody.
Did any of the animals eat each other? I know it's a weird question. Not, like did like
attack?
Yeah. Did a lion get a chimp from the chimp house?
I never seen it, but I wouldn't deny it. Like I don't. Well, no. I mean, I could say no because of the cleanliness that it was. Like we would have known. So if anything ate something else, we probably would have known about it. So I'd probably have to say no. And the only big worry was just him feeding another animal to an animal. Than one just eating one of them.
Got you.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, after watching the documentary, do you think that he had, he was a mastermind behind the whole Carol situation? Or you think he was set up? Personally, I think he was set up.
Oh, he's set up.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they was trying to get him out of the way. And they knew Carol Baskin was a way to do it. And I think Carol had something to do with the setup.
Dang. It would make sense.
Of course, because Carol put out like a video when Joe was like being sentenced. I don't know if he was being sentencing or like after his sentence or whatever. And she put out like this video or whatever about, him getting 22 years.
Right.
And all this and that. And I'm just like, how do you literally sit up here and gloat about this moment, knowing you've been doing the same thing?
Facts.
And you can have this man. First of all, you killed your husband. I don't care what nobody says.
Okay.
You killed your husband. And then you sit up here and you're surprised that somebody got a hit out for you to be killed. When we don't know if your husband was fed to a tiger or in a septic tank or, he just off in Costa Rica like Tupac in Cuba. We don't know.
Right.
But she definitely had something to do with it, in my opinion.
Same.
Not fact.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
But I definitely think in the whole scheme, it was Jeff Lowe, Alan Glover, James Gatterson, or whatever his name was, and Carol Baskin.
Yep.
Like all four of them had something to do with him going to jail.
Yep.
And it's not right.
Agree.
And like as much of an a-hole that Joe was, because he wasn't the most pleasant person to be around, but he wasn't that bad. Like it was one time he took us all out for Burger King. Like, he did stuff like that.
Right.
In his control, because it really wasn't anything around in Wynnewood. Literally, it's Wynnewood and it's the United States around it.
Facts.
Like there's nothing in Wynnewood, Oklahoma.
I can imagine. It looked like it's just his own little world.
Yeah. And the closest you get to Burger King was like 20 minutes away.
Damn.
And yeah, like everything was far away from this part. Ain't nothing in walking distance. Ain't nothing it's just land. And if you wanted to go shopping or anything like that, you had to at least go 20 minutes out. So for him to do the things, that he did before he just completely went psycho because of this, he really, I would say he really wasn't a bad person. He wasn't a bad, individual. And he had his moments just like everybody. And yeah, I won't call him racist because even though he wanted to throw the nigga
right
out there, every once in a while. But at the end of the day, I don't think that he should be in jail for 22 freaking years. Like, that makes no sense. And at least if he's gonna be, everybody else should be going down with him.
Facts.
Right, I completely agree.
It was a couple of R. Kelly situations. I was like, okay, this is
yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? If one person gonna go down, and I don't blame her for talking. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Oh
Shit,
yeah.
everybody played their part. They had, and it seemed like they had a whole little system there.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about they're supposed to be coming out with a new episode. And I'm waiting.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna watch it. Hell, ain't got shit else to do during quarantine.
Right?
Maybe I should finish it finally. But the thing is, like, it's hard for me to finish shows when, like, I know that, like, everybody's talking about the end. Like, I know how it ends. You know what I'm saying? So it's just hard for me to, like.
No. Okay. How far are you?
Oh. Okay. So I'm gonna be honest. Because I watched it the first time before Tan did, and I told her about it, and I was like, but I fell asleep. So I fell asleep.
I tried to watch it once before. Like, whenever I first saw it on Netflix, I turned it on, but I couldn't get into it. And then when everybody started talking about it, I was like, well, shit, let me try again. And then I was like, oh, shit, this shit good.
The first episode is a little bit of a drag because it's trying to build up.
It wasn't bad, but I just fell asleep. I ended up falling asleep. So I started watching the second time, and I was like, oh, okay, like, this is why everybody's saying this. This is why, like, I understood it, but, like, now I'm just like, is there a point of even me watching it? Because, like, everybody, like, I know how it ends.
Right, I feel you.
Girl, you need to watch.
But you do. It's really fucking good.
Watch.
It's really good.
Okay, we'll see.
You have to watch it. I just told my friend, like, right before y'all called, and another friend that I work with, I was telling him about it because he hasn't watched it. He doesn't even have Netflix. So I was telling him about it. And he was just like, oh, my God, what? And I'm like, yeah. Watch it. Buy Netflix. Just get Netflix so you can watch it. Cancel your subscription.
Yep.
I mean, you get the first month free anyway, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even have it. I get it on my mama. I don't know if I
feel like everybody shares.
Everybody got somebody's Netflix password.
Yeah, everybody shares.
Right.
That don't mean nothing.
I don't even have my own Netflix.
Girl, you
but I was so intrigued. I was so intrigued to watch it because I had so many people like reaching out to me about it before it even happened because they were like, didn't you work for him? And I'm like, yeah, like, what are y'all talking about? Like, what is going on? I didn't even know about Tiger King.
Right.
That's
and
crazy.
It's like, yeah, go watch it. Like, and I sat down because I had a week off and I sat down and literally the first episode, like I said, was a drag. And I was just like, okay, what is this? But since I experienced it, I'm just like, okay, this is about to be some good shit. So I'm like, okay, just get me to the good shit. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching second episode. I'm like, okay, here we go. You hitting me with it. And I'm like, damn, all that happened? That's the type of stuff that I experienced to happen or I wanted to happen when I was there. Not to me, but, I wanted to see somebody's arm get ripped off. Like, that's just, I wanted to see it.
If you stayed 3 more years, you would have.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I would have.
Just waited. Just been patient.
Right. I wasn't that, no. Once you start dropping N-bombs and just being completely disrespectful and doing all that type of stuff, I gotta go. No matter how cool you are.
So what was the final straw for you?
She said whenever he asked her to kill a cow.
Oh, but like
it was that tied in with the stupid nigger comment.
Yeah, that's enough.
So it was like.
Was it a dramatic exit? Like, did you put your 2 weeks in?
Nigga, fuck you, John.
Hit all y'all bitches and walked off.
Let all the monkeys out.
I think this is what pissed him off because Joe did, he did tours and stuff on the weekend. So it was like kind of like an intermission type thing. So you would have a tour, and when that tour finished, you get ready for another tour. We left in the middle of another tour about to start. So we went back to, the trailer that we were in, packing up our stuff. We still had the radios and stuff on us. And, you know, we hear them calling for us and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think John responded over the radio of, you know, why we're not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Joe came in.
Ooh.
And that's when he wanted to talk his shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was just like, no, like all the stuff that was going on. And like I said, it wasn't really bad, but it seemed like it was just getting there. Probably because of what he was going through. And like I said, I've been in Joe's house. I've been in the office. You know, I'd hear the things that he would talk about. I heard about Carol Baskin, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it just seemed like it was working up to something that I didn't want to be around for. He probably didn't want to be around for.
Shit, he wasn't around for it. I caught up to when he ended up leaving and taking, like, selling animals and leaving and stuff. So he knew what was going on.
Right, black people ain't about to stick around for that. You lucky you got us here for this.
Girl.
But we're not sticking around for the rest of it.
Thanks.
Wow.
So, you know, I learned a lot of things. I learned how to catch an alligator. And all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, who can put that on their resume?
I know. That's a good, what's it called?
Never know.
Icebreaker.
Right.
Right.
What's the craziest job you ever had?
Yeah.
Two truths and a lie.
Okay.
A bobcat bit me.
Right.
Stop lying.
Like, show you my hand.
Dang.
Here's the proof.
Whew. Girl, I'm just happy that you made it out of that situation, you know, in one piece with all your limbs.
All your digits.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just happy that you made it, you know, out of there.
I'm glad nobody sprayed cologne on my shoes.
Girl, that was crazy too.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Well, Whitney, we've been here long enough.
Yeah.
This is the whole episode.
Girl.
Hey.
So if anyone wants to reach out and connect with you, you want them to hit you on your Facebook, your email, Instagram.
Whatever socials you want to share. Or if you don't.
Girl, I don't even know my stuff. I mean, everything is just my name. Like Whitney Holmes. I don't care. You can look me up. Literally under anything. Facebook, email is whitholmes06@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram. Like most of my stuff is also just Punch the Hurricane. So, I mean, anybody can reach out to me. YouTube, all that. I'm not that active, but I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
So.
Nah, you definitely got a story to share, girl. You better share it.
All right, that wrapped up this week's episode. We hope you guys enjoyed.
Yes, hope y'all definitely enjoyed. It was a lot of fun catching up with her and finding out.
Thanks. Finding out memory. Look, I forgot that I sung in a talent show, Lift Every Voice.
Bruh, I don't remember none of that.
I don't. Yeah, you wasn't hanging around the Negress.
Yeah, nah, I was
heavy
still,
like that.
I was still in my Catholic schoolgirl zone, so.
Thanks. Only like white people only fuck with us when it's convenient for you.
I ain't on that shit no more though.
JK.
Big facts.
But y'all hit us up at if any questions, comments, concerns, hearyepodcast@gmail.com. Y'all can find me at @_breezy BREEZY. And where can they find you at?
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tana Taught You. That's TANNAH Taught You. All right, bro. So you ready to go ahead and get up out of here?
Let's go.
As always, shout out to everybody. We had fun, and we will talk to y'all niggas next week. Bye.
Bye.